So we have been told to prepare for war. The UK government has released a document, or I think it was released, at the same time to coincide with a NATO summit that basically doesn't bode well for the future. I'm going to read some excerpts from the BBC article on it. The UK must actively prepare for the possibility of the UK coming under direct threat, potentially a wartime scenario. The nation is in an era in which we face confrontation with those who are threatening security, pointing to the Russian-Ukraine war. And the document also referred to hostile Iranian activity on British soil and how adversaries are planning to disrupt energy or supply chains. Well, thank goodness we're so secure in those things, right? I mean, the border's tight, energy being produced onshore, food supply is not a problem.
Gas and oil fields
coming from our own oil fields. Yeah, exactly. I mean, everything.
We've not been inviting hostile people from the third world for years at this point.
No, everything's just brilliant. And it called for, quote, an all-of-society effort to make the UK more secure, saying that the country will really have to pull together. It's like, have you looked at the country recently? Like whose society? Like, sorry, I don't speak the languages of many of the societies now.
Aren't we in a nation of strangers?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? Keir Starmer, he regretted saying that.
Yeah, regrets it now.
He talked that back. But yeah, we're a nation of strangers. What are you talking about? And so they're finding themselves in a position where they want to invoke some kind of wartime spirit, but there's no national cohesion from which to pull. So it's just remarkable. NATO leaders are all set to commit to increasing their spending to 5% of national income by 2035. So we're going to build up a military-industrial complex. And I'm assuming it's because they're looking at what happened with Russia and Ukraine and Iran and Israel and saying, right, okay, the era of great power politics is back. Cabinet officer Pat McFadden, our best and brightest, said the plan is both clear-eyed and hard-edged about the challenges we face. And so they're actually going to start doing stuff. They want to improve border security, which would be lovely, improve coordination with allies, and boost our capacities in shipbuilding and nuclear power, which is why, I don't know whether you noticed, Ed Miliband put out a video yesterday. He's like, we need green energy, guys, and it was all nuclear power for the first 3 minutes of it. It's like, there we go. Right, okay. We've got some sense. The government report also said that we needed to reignite a World War II fighting spirit. What?
Well, we've not got a World War II population.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
no.
Sorry, yeah. You expect us to have... we had a giant empire, and we had a homogenous population of people who actually liked their own country. It's like, sorry, that's gone, bro. Like, all of that is gone.
And even the Commonwealth states now, they thought of this country as the mother country.
Yeah.
So there was a great, vast pot of volunteers, and all speaking the King or Queen's English, and all uniform in the beliefs, our core beliefs.
Yes, there was a moral unity between the people, the empire, and the government, and that is just gone. I don't know what they think they're pulling on. They say, we will need agility and courage to succeed, but we should be optimistic. We remain a resolute country, rich in history, values, and our capabilities. Are you mad? Like, what century are you in? But most of all, there needs to be the determination of the British people themselves. It's those people who are like, we're living in a two-tier society. Yeah. It's like, are you mental? After all, we do not need to look too far into our history to see an example of whole-of-society effort. So, okay, but I don't want to have to fight a gargantuan war for the Labour government and the sort of giant foreign welfare state we're currently operating. I've got no intention of that. And this is going everywhere. Even like the Church of England is like, we're preparing for war. It's like, what, for 6% of the population that actually still attend? Again, back when there was an actual war in this country, like 70% of people went to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
Now it's 6% of people. It's like, you're not influential anymore. You're living in the shadow of these things. They've got a siren alert system that's going to blare out of your phone. They're going to test this again, apparently. But basically, it's so when there are imminent dangers in missiles traveling overhead or whatever, they think that this is going to be warning you to get to, I don't know, what, a bomb shelter? Where am I going? I don't have a bomb shelter. Like,
they've dismantled the civil defence. Both the Royal Observer Corps was stood down in 91. the sirens have gone. Bunkers have gone.
Yeah, we've got nothing.
The civil structure has gone. Absolutely,
we're completely disarmed. We're being impoverished. We're being displaced from our own country, and they're like, "Yeah, so you need to fight for this." So,
and
not
also,
sure I will actually.
And also in Wales, of course, we've been told that we have to live with our white guilt, and that that white people, particularly boys in Wales, are worthless, and you can commit suicide because we've got the highest number of suicides in Wales, and you're worthless. And so now they're saying, join the colours.
But I mean, at least you're going to be an anti-racist nation in only 5 years' time, right? So I mean, like this is worth fighting for, isn't it? So you can tell, like this is Emily Maitlis, one of our interviews, and she's just saying, look, we need to worry about state-on-state violence. Like, right, so we need to return to a world where actually having a healthy, competent, powerful country was useful, which is weird because all we've done for the last 30 years is do everything to innovate ourselves, to immiserate the country, to make people less confident, less proud, less worth, feel less worth in themselves and their own nation. And so the question, I guess, is, well, who are we going to be fighting with? And they're like, well, Russia? It's like, Russia can't even take Ukraine. Like, sorry, I'm actually not afraid of Russia. Russia couldn't even get through Ukraine. That's gone on for, nearly 3 years now? Like, they're still grinding in the same trenches in Russia that they were years ago. So it's like, I'm actually not worried. I don't think Russia is going to rock up on the home front and suddenly invade us with like 200,000 men. I'm not worried about
I never bought into that narrative, though.
No.
The narrative of, but when he gets to Ukraine, he's going to want this and want more. I've never bought into that. I think it's nonsense.
He can want whatever he wants, but I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah.
I just
There's quite a bit of continent between us and them.
He hasn't even reached the edge. He's got a fifth of Ukraine, and that took him 4 years.
It would be kind of embarrassing if Russia did do that and managed to take Germany for the second time in 100 years. That would be quite shocking. Unlikely, though.
I just don't believe it. I mean, the Russians did some nuclear warhead war games. It's like, okay, yeah, because I think they're feeling insecure as well, given what has just happened with America bombing Iran, right?
Putin's also sending the boats, apparently.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they're trying to manufacture consent on this. Well, apparently Russia's sending migrants across the channel. It's like, look, right, we don't need to blame Russia for sending migrants across the channel.
They don't even look Russian.
Well, they're not. The thing is, Russia and Belarus did actually try something like this with Poland.
Yes, they did.
They sent Iraqi migrants that arrived in Russia to Poland, and the Poles just put up a big wall and shot anyone who tried to cross. Because they actually want a future for their country.
Sounds effective. Can we give it a try?
I've been reliably informed that walls don't work.
True.
We've only got a giant moat made out of sea. So they're trying to essentially manufacture consent for all of this here. But this is obviously pathetic. It's like, look, we know that these are people who come from people traffickers. Okay, let's assume that Russia sent a bunch of them to France. That's where Russia's ability to interfere with this ends, right?
The funny thing is, even if this is true, because with the Belarus thing over to Poland, I wouldn't be too shocked if some of Putin's forces had given random passports and documents to people trying to get over on dinghies somewhere down the line.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, though, our government has still accepted these people.
Yeah.
So they're going, fight for us, we're accepting enemy infiltrators.
Yeah. That's literally where
we hate you, by the way.
Yeah, and
yes,
and I mean, you're just going to pay to put them up in hotels, don't worry. Actually, no, that's not true.
Oh, and remember, the Windrush generation built this country. Like, Starmer did that the other day, remember?
He did.
Your ancestors had nothing to do with this country. It was these people who showed up 5 minutes ago.
And the Windrush generation can sign up for the army then, can't they?
Will they, though?
Yeah, well, they won't. But anyway, Patrick Christie's went over to Calais and was like, oh, by the way, a bunch of these migrants are armed. So good news for them.
He's done some great work on this as well.
Yeah, he's been doing great. And the police are like, yeah, these are perfectly normal asylum seekers, which is why we've got to plead with them not to rape women.
It's amazing that all Patrick Christie's has to do is just hang out around Calais for a little bit, and he finds all of this stuff, and our government and police are going, what?
Yeah.
What? How could we never knew any of this? Apparently you just need to take a stroll around there for a few days.
It's the will again, isn't it? They don't have the will to do it. It's so easy.
And what are we giving the French all these millions for?
Yeah, 250 million, something like that. It was a huge amount of money for them to just spit in our eye. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, just when they come over, we're just begging them, please don't rape someone. It's like, maybe if we just didn't allow them to come here, or maybe if we didn't pay. I mean, we're housing them now in houses in local communities. So like when they were in hotels, at least they were kind of sequestered away from like residential areas.
This has been the argument we've had for years in Wales, because that was what they did in Wales. You know, they were too embarrassed to use hotels, so it was all priority housing. Right. It was rare to get. They only went into hotels in Wales when the houses run out. Yeah. So this, and now it's the flip side in England, but now they're needing to use houses.
Well, and then there was the thing I found, I think it was last year or the year before, the government documents that were saying, basically every one of these new houses that we're building, these new housing projects, about half of them need to at least be prioritised for migrants.
Yeah. Oh, great. Just brilliant.
Fight our wars for us, white boy.
I can't stand it. Anyway, so, okay, well, at least we've got the best and brightest in charge. We have Blaise Metrawelli. Typical British name, that. Average, she's from Doncaster. No, she's not. She was born overseas, by the way, actually, obviously. She's not British. She's been put in charge of MI6. And it's like, why have we done this? I mean, her grandfather was a Nazi Ukrainian collaborator who apparently he boasts of personally taking part in the extermination of the Jews. It's like, okay, I'm not saying that, she's got anything to do with that, but the point is, why have we got a foreigner in charge of our Secret Service?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, she's not from this country. How is that possible?
Because apparently she's very good at partnershiping.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so she's partnershiping with the Russians and partnershiping with the Chinese and
brilliant.
Partnershiping with the Iranians.
It is just mad how we have no sense of self-preservation in this country. No. I mean, we're building like a mega Chinese embassy in London now, right next to the financial district. It's like, I've got nothing to say about it. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so the point is, can we even fight a war? What?
We're just building spy outposts for our enemy.
Well, that's only according to the far right.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The Chinese have
There's been no mainstream reports of Chinese spies everywhere or anything. Never once. Jesus Christ.
Like Angela Rayner is unironically going to sign it off. Like everyone on the Conservatives are all like, we don't think you should be doing this, and Angela Rayner's just gonna be like, nope, that's fine. The largest embassy in Europe. Yeah, it'll be and it could be a giant Chinese embassy right in the heart of the financial districts of London.
There were rumours as well about the land around the area, obviously being then Chinese land, so it would be Chinese law, which means there's a lot of stuff going on around there, which is at odds totally with us.
And they're going to be absolutely able to conduct they call it wiretapping. I don't know if it's actually wiretapping now, but the point is they'll have access to like various like fiber optic networks and stuff that are really crucial to the city of London and things like this. And it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, but anyway, moving on. Can we even fight a war? Well, probably not. We had Tim Davies, an ex-fighter pilot, on, and he thinks that the military is simply not capable of fighting a war, and he's probably right.
Yeah.
The problem is, I mean, we had 110,000 people in just the army in 2010. Now it's struggling to meet its target of 73,000. So, I mean, that doesn't even fill Cardiff's Principality Stadium.
No.
Like, we have got a tiny military, and of that tiny military, a fifth of them aren't even fit to fight.
Yeah.
So,
but that includes all military as well.
That includes, not just the army. So, out of I think it's 99,000 personnel across, 99,000 personnel across all of them. A fifth of them can't even be deployed. So, just incredible. The absolute collapse of Britain. In fact, carrying on with the collapse, there's a great article by Matt Goodwin yesterday, about just the collapse of London. It's a very long article, so I'll let you read it in your own time. But he's just pointing out, look, the city is just rotting from within, right? And this is a reflection of the country at large. It's just this internal rot that has set into the country, and we're just allowing it to continue. I mean, like this. Why would you fight for a two-tier society? Why would you fight to be the second-class citizen in what is supposed to be your country?
Yep.
And of course, you've got here, what's his face? I can't remember the guy's name now. Lord Hermer, that's it. Communist who defended Jerry Adams, Shamima Begum, Osama bin Laden's right-hand man. He just spent his entire career, just like Starmer, defending the scum of the earth, the enemies of the country. He's the Attorney General now.
Yep.
So he's in charge of the justice system. It's like, okay.
He's in charge of the people that are not arresting Palestine action.
No.
Figures.
And
terrorists, domestic terrorists.
Yeah. So we've got this profound problem with the nature of the country. And actually, Andrew Marr wrote a surprisingly good article on this because not only is there trouble, not necessarily trouble, but unrest abroad that they're worried about. And remember, these people are sort of like technocratic managerial types, right? So any amount of uncertainty in the system makes them very afraid. But then when you actually look at what's happening in Britain, you realize, oh, right, we're on the cusp of like something serious going down here, right? Just even if nothing else happens. This is from Andrew Marr, and it's just remarkable, right? He says, today we all know about the discontent in the system over living standards, housing, migration, and crime. We observe the obsolescence of the state as it struggles to reform itself. Critics from Dominic Cummings on the right to Morgan McSweeney on the left more or less agree. And that is completely true, because Starmer is at the moment facing like an internal revolt in the Labour Party over benefits cuts, and also people in the Labour Party who are like, look, 3/4 of people hate you. Like 19% of people, 16% of people are approving of this Labour government. Like we are looking at like an existential, and literally an extinction event for the Labour Party, as well as the Conservative Party. And so what's going on? So will Starmer suffer an internal revolt? I mean, I've said this for a while. I would be surprised if Starmer lasts out his term. Yeah. Like, I just don't think it's going to happen. He carries on. On the national inquiry into grooming gangs, on frustration with the European Convention on Human Rights, on nationalisation, on the wind fuel payment U-turns, and a more permissive attitude to oil and gas licences in the North Sea, the government has been sounding unmistakably reformy. Where is our vision of a better Britain? Where is our politics? Says a deeply frustrated minister. And that really is the sum of the problem. It's like water to a fish. They are swimming in their politics. All of Britain's modern problems are a result of the Labour Party's politics. Yeah. Everything that's going wrong, every single thing, to the fact that people don't want to support the army, they won't join the army, they don't want to fight for the country, the fact that we're completely impoverished, the fact that we're being overrun, the fact that we're so weak and complacent on the world stage, everything is down to their end of history politics, like supranational, like we're transcending the nation state. It's like, okay, well, look at what it's done to us. Yeah. You know, when we actually took care of the nation state, we were a great country, and we were the greatest country in the world, actually. We had the largest empire in human history. Now we're wretched, right? We're absolutely wretched, and I absolutely hate it. And so Andrew Marr carries on. Farage told The Telegraph recently, this country needs political surgery through every single sector of public life. We need a very gentle British political revolution. I'm the moderate. If I don't succeed, watch what comes after me. Now, I don't think Nigel's going to succeed at anything. I don't think he's got a competent team around him. I don't even think he really understands the full scope of the problems. But Marr says, the trouble is, a lot of the rising nationalist tide against things as they are is very angry and racist. It isn't just about the boats or hotels. It's about demography, Islam, criminals from overseas, and English history itself. And he's right.
It is.
All of these things, they can complain about the sort of policy decisions, but these things are all downstream from the real questions, which is about, well, whose country is this? Do foreigners have a claim to this country like we have a claim to this country?
Wasn't this kind of building off of the question that you fielded to Robert Toombs the other day when you were asking, well, if anybody can be English, what does English even mean? Because it's essentially a reframing of the what is a woman question. An English person is a person who identifies as English. Well, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just anybody who says that they're English. Well, does it have anything? Does it have anything to do with the history? Like, I can trace my family back in particular regions of this country for 500 years at least, and look at me.
Yeah.
Clearly, my family has been of these isles for thousands of years. But can somebody who showed up 10, 15, even 50 years ago claim to have the same attachment to this land?
But if they simply identify as an Englishman, Harry,
Oh, I suppose so. Yeah,
but as
always, I dislike the idea that it's unusual to be angry about your demographic replacement, and also the idea of you not being able to own your history, and that it is racist, the bad word. You are the bad person for caring about those things. It's perfectly natural, perfectly normal in all human societies except for ours.
It's completely unreasonable to ask a people to give up the jurisdiction of their own land. That's what's been happening. Is to say the Welsh have no jurisdiction over Wales. It's going to become an anti-racist country. Yeah. What does that mean? That means a country for everyone but the Welsh. Mm-hmm. It's the same in England. It's unreasonable. It could never be asked in previous eras. And now that it's being asked, well, I mean, listen to this from Andrew Marr, right? He says, we find there's nothing new in this, except perhaps the scale. It is more than before. There are no National Front skinhead demos, but polling from Merlin Strategy has found 76% of the public worry about future political violence. And if there's one thing that could hold back reform, it's the fear of uncontrollable community tension, or to put it more bleakly, race war. So, yeah, well, why did you do this to us?
Well, the fact is, if he's worried about that, it wouldn't be anything to do with reform or anything under their control. If anything like that was going to happen, it would be the result of what are essentially now historical forces which no individual can control.
Yes, this is done to the British public, and now things. I mean, again, Marr is on the money here.
And they're really worried about the fact, it's not National Front skinhead demos anymore. No. Yeah, well, that's good actually, because that would be beneficial for you lot, because you'd be able to palm it off as the racist working class cranks. Look at how uncouth and uneducated they are. We can ignore their concerns and allow their children to continue being abused by the foreigners that we've brought into the country. But now it's becoming more widespread.
Now it's literally mums.
Yeah, it's more difficult to dismiss it as irrational, uneducated people.
I covered a couple of weeks ago this polling that had been done by one polling company, and they were like, the focus groups are mad, where you have Dave from accounts being like, we need a new Cromwell. We need an absolute, we need a revolution. We need something to seriously happen, because otherwise we're screwed. And it's like, this guy is a guy who's invested in the system, right? He's got a mortgage. He's got, he earns 50 grand a year. He sends his kids to a nice school, and this guy's like, we need to have a revolution. We need a new Cromwell to just come in and sort all of this out. It's like, the things are getting away from them. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, again, Marr is right about this. He says, somehow Farage must harness the anger while soothing the fear. That's very tricky in opposition and may prove impossible in power. Trump has struggled, but if the British establishment is to be overturned after a further economic shock, which is entirely likely, frankly, the next revolution will be about borders and race rather than privatization and deregulation.
It's absolutely on the money. I'm amazed that Marr's managed to string those words together.
I know. Well, that's why I'm saying it. It's just like, wow, okay, Andrew Marr actually said something right.
But people can see what's going wrong. Yeah. Every single day when you walk through town and you've got diversity barriers to stop you from being blown up, or you go into a court and you have to be strip searched to get into court, go into either the press gallery or the jury box, or the public gallery. Everywhere that you go, our country has changed. We're on a war footing. Why are we on a war footing? We've been on a war footing for 20 years. Yeah. We shouldn't be in that kind of state. We shouldn't see police officers armed to the teeth walking up and down the street. Whoever voted for that? I've never voted for an armed police force.
And in every manifesto, it's been, we're going to stop this from happening. And yet here we are. I mean, you walk down, Swindon's a great example, but literally any main town in this country, and it's just full of strangers. Yes. Why are there just random Africans and Asians everywhere? Everywhere. Yeah. It's like, what is going on?
And people want to talk about it as well.
Yeah. Uber Eats, you see, that's the reason.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But people want to talk. We went to Cardiff a couple of weeks ago, not last weekend, the weekend before. And just by chance, we got down there and it was a big food festival. And you may have seen it because it blew up on X, because I walked around and said, look at the food festival. I didn't say anything about the people, but they were all in burgers.
But you couldn't not notice.
No, it was just a nice food festival. Food smells lovely. Videoing around, put it on X, close to 1 million views. Comments in it say everything. People are so fed up. This is Cardiff, the capital of Wales. And there was not white people wandering around.
Yeah.
They were all in burqas, pretty much. And people are noticing it. People are fed up of it.
Yeah, and there's no reason why we should be giving up our countries. No. There's just no reason, right?
No. Or our heritage, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why David Betts has published a second part to his Civil War article, because he's the Department of War Studies at King's College London. I think he actually specialises in civil wars. When was this published? It doesn't say, it's spring 2025, but and again he makes just some superb points. He says Western governments under increasing structural civilizational distress have squandered their legitimacy, and they are losing the ability to peacefully manage multicultural societies that are terminally fractured by ethnic identity politics. I mean, the fact that we've got the 4 Gaza MPs elected, and they were just elected purely, I'm a Muslim, you guys are Muslims, vote for me and not the Labour Party. Like, this is just totally unacceptable. Yeah. And he's worried that the multiple major cities are just going to degenerate into what they have a category called feral, which means just ungovernable cities where there's no rule of law.
Well, I mean, you see parts of it in America as well with their new mayor who's coming in. Obviously, we covered that the other day, but there was the document that's been going around today that I've been seeing where he was saying that he was going to take overtaxed households and shift the tax burden onto wealthier and whiter neighborhoods. He literally used whiter neighborhoods in that. So it's like, oh, okay, this is just racial grievance. This is just racial conflict being put into the tax laws of New York City, of Manhattan.
So if I've got to pay for these people, what do I get back? Like, this
a wonderful range of diverse restaurants.
Oh, amazing. He says he warns against normalcy bias, because you think, well, okay, I'm not seeing a civil war right now. Surely one's not going to erupt tomorrow. And the thing is, things are always peaceful until they're not, and they can just turn on a dime, right? He says the defense of establishments of the West ought to guard against the tendency to disbelieve or minimize the threat of internal conflict. The matter is that conditions which are generally agreed to be indicative of the potential for civil war are vividly present across a range of states which have for a long time been thought beyond such sort of conflict. He's talking specifically about Britain here. And I think he's right. And I think that the idea that I don't imagine if the Labour government did find themselves embroiled in a foreign war. They don't have the moral legitimacy and support of the British people to carry it out.
No. But look at Keir Starmer in the last, with Iran and Israel. He was nowhere to be seen. Well, no statements, no comments.
Sensibly, probably.
Well, but that's not the type of leader that you want, you need. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't want to provoke civil bombings on our streets by the very people he's invited in.
I mean, there was literally an Iranian terrorist who was arrested after crossing the channel the other day. Like, you're going to get more of these, and so we're a country that's completely riven by these fractures. We're totally fragile, and the bonfire has been piled up and it's waiting for a light. So the idea that we can be like, oh yeah, we'll prepare for war, guys. We need this, we need to pull together, and the wartime spirit. It's like, that's all gone, and that's not coming back.
But just to looking at the NATO sphere. And you see Hungary and Poland, and suppose it that all 3 nations, Britain, Hungary and Poland, said, rally to the flag. In Poland, I suspect that they would 100%. In Hungary, because they've got a homogenous societies in those two.
Well, they've got a national state that is for the Polish people, for the Hungarian people. We've got a national state that's for everyone but the British people.
Yes.
And that's just the way that the things are here. But we'll leave that there, because it's pretty grim, really, isn't it? I mean, what are we supposed to do?
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.